Good afternoon, Americans. This is your favorite alien and Bubba here in the afternoon of Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. Sitting in for Paul Harvey this afternoon. Stand by for the rest of the story. Well, sitting in for Paul Harvey, the story today is on Romani and the difference between Romani and Romanians. Let me give you a background here, okay? Romanians inhabit a land that was called Dacia. And around 80 AD, Dacia was supposed to have a lot of gold, and the Romans at the time, under Diocletian, wanted to have the money. Well, Diocletian, he tried a few times. The Dacians pulled him back, and it went down there for the next decade or so. So, in 98 AD, the General Trajan became Emperor Trajan of Rome in 98 AD, and he needed money. I mean, Rome was not doing so good at the time, so he went over to Dacia and invaded and conquered them after a long wars that they had with the Roman Empire. The Dacians, most of them got killed by the Romans. A few left, but not very many. And today, it's hard to distinguish any Dacian descendants left. That's how brutal the Romans were under Trajan. So Trajan and later his successors that came in, Hadrian and Marcus Aurelius, made Dacia kind of a Hawaii of Rome. So anybody who wanted to retire as a Roman citizenship would get land in Dacia. And that's what happened to Dacia for the couple of centuries after that. And it was called Romania. Okay? So the descendants of Rome are still in Romania for the most part. That's why it's Romania, Romans. Now, the other people that call themselves Romani, they come from a different part. They come from India, in the Punjab area of India to be exact. Their ancestors were Aryan, Indo-Aryan, so they had some Indus and some Aryan in them. And that, so hey, Nazis, if you're listening out there, these are the Aryans. Yeah, because they're from area. Yeah, really. Well, but they were nomads. And their language, Romani, and they called themselves Roma, had nothing to do with Rome. It's just a word that was used in those days, Roma. They didn't even know about the Romans, probably at the time. But they left the area around 850 AD, started moving west towards Europe, getting to present-day Romania around 1000 AD. Some settled there with the Romanians and adopted some of the Romanian ways, but still kept some of the Romani ways. Others moved around Europe. And in the Middle Ages, people thought they came from Egypt. So they were called gypsies because they thought they were from Egypt, hence gypsy. Or Egipto, as you say in Spanish, hence gitano. Yeah. It's a derogatory word, gypsy. But they always called themselves Romani. And their language is got some Hindu base to it, and some Hindi and some Roman because Latin because when it came into Romania, that was based by the Roman descendants. They're still there today, but the two people live together in harmony most of the time in Romania. But most people misunderstand Romani and Romanian are two different set of people. They both may speak the same language of Romanian, but Romani language is separate. They may have the same words, and you may think that, but it's like a Canadian and American or an Aussie and American. Try to speak that kind of thing. You'll see there's a separation there. And there's a lot of Romani here in the United States. There's between 1 to 2 million Romani here in the United States today. I know a few here in Marietta. I knew a few in Panama when I was a kid. And I always refer to them as Romani because gypsies gypsy is a derogatory term. Like I said, it was made in the Middle Ages because they thought that they came from Egypt. I don't know why, but they did. That's why it's a term. Gypsy came around. But Romani are nice people. They're mostly to themselves, the ones that I know. But they do have a good head on their shoulders. And they, consider Romania their home for the most part. And if you talk to a Romanian and a Romani, it's a turn of inflection because their languages are kind of either the Romanians took up the Romani language or the Romani took up the Romanian language, but I think it's the other way around. I think that the Romanians, somewhere between 1000 AD and present, took up the Romani words. Because they would probably have been speaking Latin and Greek because Dacia became Romania, and there was a lot of Roman descendants there. But to make the misnomer here of people who call gypsies, and they think that all gypsies are the ones that you see on television with the wagon and the crystal ball or the cards. There are some gypsies that operate that way, but they are legitimate. I've seen some, and they do strange things. But there are other people that take the term gypsy and try to be them, but are not. So you got to be careful with imitators. A real Romani will tell you. A not so real Romani will chase you. And there's a lot of those, especially Eastern Europeans, Albanians, Bulgarians. I once knew a Belarus lady that did that, and I said, "What are you thinking? You're from Belarus?" She says, "How do you know that?" I said, "Because you got a Russian accent that tells me you're from Belarus." Yeah. But see, most people are not like me. They don't understand the languages and they don't understand the people. But Romanis, like I said, and I know a few, are interesting people that you should look at their culture. And they got, a culture that goes way back to the Hindus, back to pre-Christian Hindus, the pre-Christianity era. And they can tell you a lot more of history than here in the western side of the pond, as you say. So when you hear gypsies, that's a derogatory term that should never have been referred to for the Romani. The Romani are the Romani, and the gypsies could be some Romani in there, but for the most part, a lot of people have usurped that word in the last 6 centuries and try to make it. They used the Romani and see what they did, and they're trying to take the people for what they can with them. A Romani will not do that. A gypsy will. And those are what I call the true gypsies, are the non-Romani people. So I hope I tried to explain this a little better. And you can tell the difference between a Romanian and a Romani, because they'll tell you they speak Romani, not Romanian. Okay? Even though the two languages are kind of similar. This is your favorite alien and Bubba sitting in for Paul Harvey this afternoon. And now, you know the rest of the story. Good day.